Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It is just gone 8:50 a.m. This is News and Views with me, Julie Ali, right here on Salam Media. Now, next online, we have a chairperson of Riverlea Extension 2 Residents Association and Riverlea Extension 2 Community Police Forum, Pastor Anthony Sherman and community member Clint Winnaar. They're here to talk to us about a very worrying trend that is not only playing out in Riverlea Extension 2, which is just outside of Johannesburg on the western part of Johannesburg. I think this scenario that we're going to unpack on the show this morning is playing out all around the country, very especially in townships like Riverlea Extension 2. A very good morning to both of you, Pastor Anthony Sherman and Clint Winnaar. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Julie, and thanks for hosting us and thanks for your viewers.
Yeah. Good
Okay,
morning,
so
Anthony, and good morning, viewers.
lovely to have you guys on the show because you are unpacking something that's happening not only in Riverlea but all around the country, and it's really very concerning because if nothing is being done by civic organizations and community forums like yourselves, this clearly is going to get completely out of hand. So let's start with you, Pastor Anthony Sherman. What
Hmm.
exactly are we talking about? What are the concerns that you're unpacking on the show this morning?
Well, Julie, to be very clear about our challenges that we are experiencing as a community, part of, and I don't really want to go into the service delivery aspect because I think that is general knowledge throughout our country with regards to the electrical grid failing from time to time and also the water, etc. But most of our challenges are also derived from a settlement that is next to the houses. I think you can literally say 50 meters from the homes, and that is Zamampilo informal settlement. Now, what we have done a few years ago when I had a walkabout with the parliamentarians is I informed them that Zamampilo informal settlement must not be termed a informal settlement but a mining settlement, and the reason for that is 90% or 80% of the business of the settlement is illegal mining, and I think that is a scourge throughout the whole west and east rand as the gold belt or the gold reef, as we call it, lies. And you find that we are having it bad on this side because when you look at all the things that the settlement contributes to with regards to making the life of the residents very unbearable. Now, taking into consideration that this was an area where people have bought homes up plus minus 45 to 50 years ago. So those are all still foundational owners that are living here, which means that they are already in their old age. And then you have the scourge that is terrorizing our area. And thus, we have started the CPF, and these guys are getting a lot of traction with regards to what they're doing. And unfortunately, we have our own challenges on that side with the CPF. But from a residents association perspective, things that I want to mention just in broad, just with a broad swipe, is amongst other things, firstly, the illegal mining. Secondly, I would look at things like cable theft because that is part of the modus operandi of these illegal miners. You're talking of illegal electricity connections, which means they are sabotaging and hijacking our electrical infrastructure in the area so that they can connect to it illegally. Going into the settlement, we are looking at drug trafficking and lolly lounges, which is presently in the settlement because of the amount of intelligence we're getting from there that's informing us of that. Then also the settlement is used as a springboard for house breaking and theft. That has increased immensely over the last few years. And at one of the meetings with the Langlagte police station, I was told very clearly by the station commander there, Sibanda, that these guys cannot go into the camp as they are fearful of their lives. This is now said. So I don't know how legit that can be because as CPF members, And as resident association members working together, we go into the camp from time to time to pursue these culprits. The other thing we must look at, and this is a very serious one, it's water wastage, because there are certain valves passing through the informal settlement. And what the miners do is they break these valves because they need access to water to mine the mineral. And that you look at clean, clear water running 24/7. We have our endless challenges in getting the institutions of Joburg just to come and fix them and repair them. If I had repairers in the community that can do that, I would have done it long ago. I can remember there is one instance where a valve is broken. It's running for 6 months, clean water, running for 6 months. I mean, look at that wastage. And then
So,
you find
City of Joburg, do they not then listen to your, do they not, log your faults and come and investigate and fix it, despite the fact that the water has been running and wasted for the past 6 months?
well, ma'am, we have references, we have logged calls, we have asked for assistance from our counselor, and he is doing what he can do. We have asked assistance from counselors from other areas to also assist, and they are doing what they can do. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of these institutions, there's a lot of bureaucracy taking place, and the bureaucracy is hampering service delivery. The bureaucracy is also making life difficult from a service perspective. But
Okay.
like I
Okay.
say, these are the challenges, but the contribution there is the Zamampilo mining settlement.
All right, let's go to you, Clint. You're a community member. And obviously, Pastor has really unpacked a lot and really serious issues here. Let's look at those informal settlements. Just how big is it? The impact seems to be devastating as far as the Riverlea Extension 2 community is concerned. And I'm also kind of wondering, when the informal settlements were kind of springing up, do you not think that at that point, a couple of years ago, if as a community member and if the CPF had come together and nipped it in the bud then, you could have stopped it then? Or was it something that was just kind of beyond your control?
Well, Julie, the size of our squatter cancer, and I
6,000.
told you that I think they amount to they all in all about 6,000
6,000.
residents in that squatter camp, and they've grown exponentially. I think in 2004, was it 2004? They were actually given houses in Pennyville.
Pennyville and then eventually Fleer off.
Yeah, Pennyville and Fleerof. They were issued houses there, and for I think only about 3 months or so, they shrunk to a very small, I'd say, community. But then surprisingly, they moved back, and before long they were double the size. So what happened there is the people that was issued the houses in Pennyville and in Fleerof, they actually started renting out that places for an income and moved back here. And
Absolutely.
so we're just not winning. So they always have.
I, I
Okay,
wonder, I wonder,
I'm
Julie, can I quickly
wondering.
come in there?
Yes.
Just to quickly elaborate, because I've been the chairman here for many years in the area, and I'm quite clued up with that whole process there. What has happened is when this camp started out, it was highlighted to the Johannesburg City Council. They then brought in people to regulate the growth of the camp, and also red ends were stationed here. The red ends and a fencing perimeter did the trick for a while, but eventually corruption crept in, and red ends were eventually taken away, and eventually you find that the camp just kept on growing. Now, when you look at a couple of years ago, when the camp was in the region of an average of 2,500 shacks, today there is plus 6,000 shacks there, and then most of that, 90% of the camp currently is foreign nationals, that is undocumented. There is a 10% of the South African component there. That 10% has been allocated house on an ongoing basis in the flare of new development as well as Pennyville years ago. But uh, the space that is vacated is just filled overnight. And when, as a community, we approached the powers that be concerning this type of growth, there seemed to be no political will to want to do anything. There seemed to be no political will to want to come in and make a difference
Uh,
because we have raised many concerns. Because
okay, let
can
me
I?
come
Can I?
in here.
Okay.
Let me come in here. I think the story you're sharing with us is the story of residents all around the country that are faced with a similar problem.
With a
And you
similar
are right
problem.
about the illegal squatters, however you're going to refer to them, is
Yes.
that when they are given land or housing, you are right, they're making a business out of it. They're renting it out and they go back to the squatter areas. What do you believe is the answer? You indicated there's no political will from government and
That's
politicians.
right.
What is the answer? Should this problem be put at the doorstep of the mining companies? It is their property after all, and should they be held accountable?
Well, Julie, I don't know if you can put it at the doorstep of the mining houses because we have had difficulty for many years locating the one responsible for the piece of property that the informal settlement is on. We have had massive problems with that. But according to my last check, that property now belongs to the Johannesburg City Council. But
Ah,
here is the
okay.
problem. Here is the challenge that we sit with. When you look at things like housing, it is a provincial competency. And when it comes down to a provincial competency, which means that the provincial government must step in. The provincial government must bring with them strong police presence. They must bring home affairs because we have to check and see who is documented and undocumented. Because the South African component within the camp has been taken care of and can be taken care of. But that is the South African component. Now we have to look at the foreign component that is illegally there. How is
Mm.
the government going to deal with it? You cannot settle, you cannot take that and put it in the lap of the city. The city cannot deal with that because that's home affairs. So, in our opinion, as a residents association, there is no political will from your provincial institutions to want to do something about it. Because here is the problem. Apart from the challenges we have of the residents of the camp, we are sitting with another problem, and that is that there's been three environmental impact assessment tests done on that place, and all three have shown that it is unsafe for human habitation. The other thing that we have to take cognizance of, there is the ESCOM lines that has now been hijacked. There is no power on those ESCOM lines. Then there is the Cecil gas line that's running through that camp. There is also the Petro SA petrol
Sure.
pipeline that's running through that. There is also the high pressure Rand water pipeline that's running through that camp. And yeah, these are the dangers. These guys, the illegal miners, are playing with dynamite underground.
Okay, unfortunately, Pastor, we have run out of time.
Can you
My
believe it?
suggestion, my suggestion is perhaps get all of those role players involved, because if their pipelines are going to be damaged, it's going to
That's right.
cost them major resources to replace that. So perhaps that's your first port of call, is get all of
Yes,
those role players involved. And let me give the final word to you, Clint
yes, ma'am.
Winnaar. What do you have to say? I know that the issue about lolly lounges and drug trafficking and drug peddling is also big in those areas. So you do need to apply your minds and get SAPS involved there to clean out the scourge of drugs in the area. But that being said, let me give you the final word, Clint.
Yeah, Julie, if I may just come in from a humanitarian perspective here. As past as pointed out, they are living basically on a minefield, and it is a disaster waiting to happen, and it God forbid it will probably be triggered by they themselves. So it's not only for our
Our
safety and
safety,
our
yeah.
infrastructure that we are concerned, but for them too, because as you are, they're mining right next to gas lines and fuel lines, and they actually based right under the pylons carrying these electrical lines. So, God forbid,
All
if
you
that,
need, all you need all you need there is for a fire to break out, to
Oh,
have
just
don't go
happen,
there. Don't go
yeah.
there,
catastrophe,
Julie. Whoa,
a
whoa.
catastrophe of
Yes.
unimaginable
Yeah.
proportions. Uh, what else do you have to add there, Clint?
So I don't know why government is actually waiting for that event to take place, where they can take action now and prevent it beforehand. So I don't know. The government seemed to really be uh, reactive instead of proactive. This is
Okay,
a disaster waiting to unfold.
absolutely.
They are aware of
Finally,
it. Yeah.
finally, Clint, what do you believe should be happening? A very quick and short answer to that question, please.
Oh, I think they should be. I think they should be removed and maybe resettled on in a safer area, and uh, then I think government should furnish them with the basic needs, which is everyone's right: the right to water, the right to electricity, the right to to live comfortably, and it should solve our problems, and it should curb a potential disaster just waiting to happen. So government
And
should
I
step in.
And I guess best case scenario is to cordon off that area as a
Yes.
hazardous area, and hopefully you guys will be safe. That's all we have time for, but hopefully we will hook up with you guys sometime in the future to hear if any progress has been made. Thank you
Thank
indeed
you,
for your
Julie.
time. Thank you
Thank
indeed.
you for
Go
your
well.
time.
God
Julie,
bless
Keep
thank
you.
well.
you so much. Have a
Lovely.
great day.
Bye bye.
Thanks to the listeners.
It is exactly 9:07. This is News and Views with me, Julie Ali. Standing by is someone on the other end of the world, and that, of course, is Buhari Mohammed. He's a human rights activist and CEO of Eastern Social Development Foundation based in Sri Lanka. Lots have been happening there. Let us talk with him to unpack the issues in Colombo, the capital of Sri Lanka.